At the borders, they don't take the Ghana card.
Hi viewers, a gentleman having drawn inspiration from our purposeful nationwide tour around in 7, which I've recently named Motorcycling Champions League. This gentleman has been on our train twice, although not as a rider, but he's brought so much inspiration that he's done something very, very wonderful that deserves your attention. Stay tuned. Echo. I mean, when you told me we were going to go on this tour right after around in 7, I was like, are you not tired? You just came back from traveling around the country. Why don't you rest and give yourself some time? And then you said, oh, you want to schedule with your friends, and so you want to quickly get on the Borderless Africa campaign. Yes. Having said that, what led you to go on this tour, a Borderless Africa tour? Yes, the idea of a Borderless Africa sounds so good. Of course, if you're on your own continent and you want to move from one country to the other, you shouldn't go through the hassle of going to get a visa. And so the idea of it sounds really good. But knowing how Africa is, how political Africa can be, how things can get rough quickly, why did you decide to go on such a tour?
First of all, I want to say thank you to my colleagues that I did a bike trip with.
Right.
They've been wonderful and we've had a great time.
You want to mention their names?
Yeah, so Savior of Flying Flags and then Gosh of Goshes.
Right.
So they've been amazing team members that I did a trip with.
Where are they, by the way?
So Savior is continuing. He's waiting for the Cameroonian visa to continue. And then Goshes and I are with the tour. So we are in Ghana for a while, and then we will continue to Cote d'Ivoire, and then so
the Savior is still on the tour.
Yeah, he's waiting for the Cameroonian visa to continue, as of now. So so with this Borderless campaign thing, it's in line with the work that I'm doing. Since I'm a travel and documentary photographer, my work is mainly based on the throwing light on the essence of people, narratives, culture, and then tradition. So I've done a lot of works in the Upper East region and then some part of Ghana. So I wanted to extend my works across Africa, where I'll be shooting and documenting Africans as a form of archive. So in 50, 60 years, these images will be looked at from a historical point of view, where we know that, wow, so at this point in the life of us as a group of people, this was how we looked like.
Right.
This was the kind of outfits we wore. This was our bone structure. Because the further we go into the human evolution, the more we change. The more, because of the food we eat. Now people don't really eat their local and indigenous food.
This is deep. Wow. Wow. This is deep.
Yeah. So now people don't eat more of their local food. So it's affecting the way we look. So me going around shooting people, culture, and group of people is to document them as a form of archive. So in the future, we look back and we look at these images like, wow, so this is how we look like at this point.
Wow.
So that was the whole idea of going on this tour.
Guys, are you not impressed already? I mean, come on. Wow. Anyway, so if I get you right, your work is based on interacting with people.
Yeah.
And so your ability to move in and out freely is very essential and important.
Exactly.
So that's what led to this Borderless Africa.
Yeah, for me personally. Okay. Yeah. But as a group and as the umbrella idea, it's Borderless Africa, where Africans should be able to travel within Africa with no form of frustration, with no form of hindrance or they call it token or something. Africans should be able to pick their bags, walk to the border, show their passport or ID, and then cross easily to the next African country without any form.
Is that not easy already?
No, it's not easy. Even in West Africa here, it's not easy.
Even West Africa, from Accra, Ghana to Togo.
Bro, We spent.
Well, the
Okay.
truth of the matter is that I've experienced it myself at the Togo border, so I know.
Yeah.
Having gone beyond the Togo border, I've also experienced at Elugu, having gone beyond, so I can't speak to the rest of the countries.
We spent 6 hours at the Togo border, and the funny aspect is that so there was a white man that, quote unquote, I'm using white man. There was a white person that we were crossing the border with. He finished his document and everything less than 30 minutes, and he had to wait for us till almost evening time so that we will all go together.
In order not to sound racist, could it be that he had all his documents intact and you guys didn't have all your
We also had all our documents intact, our passports, our international vehicle permits, our international driver's permits, and then yellow fever card, COVID card. We had all our documents.
What were they telling you?
First of all, they said first entry. You have to pay something for first entry. What does that even mean?
Could it be that this man we're talking about was willing to pay?
I can't really tell if he paid or he didn't pay, but he spent short time going through the process and then leaving than us. So they took something called first entry. And even another thing also. So with my other colleague, Gosh, right? He had gone to Togo before, but he didn't use the flower border.
Right.
He used the other border.
Right.
And because this time he's using the flower border, they still took him first entry money.
Right.
So
as far as they are concerned, he's now entering their country. Right.
Exactly.
So the first entry is per the border you are using.
As per what I experienced, that was what happened to us at the border. And then even to get a stamp also, they will mention 2,000 CFA, 4,000 CFA. You have to bargain. Even when they mention, they if you are not willing to pay, they'll say next.
Right.
So you just go
They're
start
wasting their time.
Yeah, like time no day like that.
Right.
And these people, sorry to use words like these people, they can speak English, but they pretend not to speak English.
Are you sure they can speak English?
Yes, because later you hear them interacting in English with other people.
This
And
is interesting.
yeah, and then so after we get the stamp, we went to get laissez-passer for our bikes. And then the laissez-passer, another thing that happened was first he said 7,000 CFA. We went to change the money. When we came back, he said no, it's 9,000 CFA. And these are some of the experiences that we had.
So this is just crossing from Ghana to Togo.
To Togo, yes.
So that was your first border crossing.
Yeah.
And we were going through this much.
Yeah.
They did not discourage you?
See, at that point,
Yes.
I asked myself, like, I want to go back home.
If your first border crossing is tedious and hectic,
exactly,
I'm sure you'll be
so with me, I lost Vim in the beginning because I was frustrated so much. So much because with me, I had ridden from Borga to the border.
That's a journey already on its own.
From Borga to the border. My friends, they came from Accra. So with me, I was tired. So the frustration got to me, but when my people motivated me, it's like, yeah, we go fit do one. Charlie, this be just day one. Charlie, yeah, we could do one. So with me going to Nigeria, I was very tensed. We've heard
the stories.
We've heard about Nigeria.
One thing I'll tell you from my travels, what they tell you usually may be a one-sided story.
Exaggerated.
Someone's experience of something.
Yeah.
They may not have the full picture. But you see, the thing is that when you are traveling, it's you have to be on the side of good.
Yeah.
And be cautious.
Yeah.
And so we tend to take the negatives and then travel with the negatives even more.
Exactly.
But it's usually not the case.
Yeah. And we didn't face any issue at the Nigerian border. But crossing the border, when we're in Togo, we met some few Nigerians and they were telling us a whole lot of story. They said at the border they have a terminology they use, JJC. Johnny just come. So they'll see your demeanor
and try to take the most.
So going to Nigeria, I was scared. But the moment we entered into Nigeria, went to the immigration, they welcomed us. With open arms.
Could you say that the English-speaking countries are different from the French-speaking countries? Is there a difference?
Yeah, vastly, vastly.
Tell us.
So with the French countries, they are very strict. Well, maybe with the exception of Benin. Benin is more friendly. Okay, no, Cotonou, because we stay longer in Cotonou. Cotonou is more,
Cotonou is Benin, capital of.
yeah, capital of Benin. It's more friendly. But Togo,
Togo wasn't
yeah,
friendly.
even when you bring your phone out trying to, it's very risky. You know, the police become very aggressive.
Right.
Even having my
GoPro.
helmet, camera, and you know they start becoming aggressive to you and all that. You know, so but Nigeria was amazing. Part of, you know, even though we stay longer, it
Would
wasn't
be that your expectations were something else, and so what you saw wasn't up to that expectation. So you were wow.
Yeah,
Could that be the case?
it could be, but it's not an exaggeration because okay, let me start from the border, right? At the borders, they don't take the Ghana card because they will tell you we have to give you a stamp of entry. You know, so
So we are saying that holding the Ghana card
yeah, it's to identify you
as a Ghanaian,
as where you are coming from.
Yeah, but that doesn't really open doors for
Yeah,
you.
would they open door for you to cross?
Right.
Because they will have to give you a stamp of entry. So the moment
Did they know you from Ghana?
When we told them we are coming from Ghana at the immigration, and then they didn't take us even one cedi, they didn't know one kobo. They didn't even take us anything.
Right.
So they asked us, do you want 60 days, 90 days, or what? We said, oh, we just want 30 days.
You were called for choice.
Yeah, you know, we said we just want 30 days because we didn't think that we would spend that long.
Thank you, Nigeria. Ghana meets Nigeria.
Yeah.
The Nigerians are our brothers.
Yeah, you know, and you could see, you could feel.
Yeah.
You know, so we said we want 30 days because we are not planning to stay longer. So they stamped as 30 days. And then
if you had wanted 90 days, they would have
yeah, because they asked us whether
yeah for choice.
Yeah. You know, we said we want 30 days. You know, we were doing guy. We said we want 30 days. So we took the 30 days and then we went to Nigeria. So Nigeria, we got in touch with the metallic bull riders.
Right.
So Bande,
Right.
Ezekiel.
Right.
They came to welcome us.
Yeah, my friends.
Amazing welcome. We met over 20 bikers, you know, but they came to welcome us, ushered us into Lagos, and then they were having their event already. So they welcomed us into their event, introduced us to the crowd, and then they had a beautiful reception for us. And then even afterwards, you know, Ezekiel Sobande has been amazing. Like he's a good guy. He's what he did for us, because he's a busy man.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel.
Mr. Cal.
Continue to do good to mankind.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell everybody who does good to mankind. Right? Echo, nice to meet you. And you are Conscious. This is Kale.
Oh, okay.
This is Kale. Ezekiel.
Nice meeting you, bro.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Papa.
Through him, that was when I started coming down in Nigeria, because the love he showed us, you know, was amazing. If we needed something fixed on our bike, he'll make sure that we get it. Even if he can't do it, he'll tell you, oh, I know a guy who knows a guy.
He was resourceful.
Exactly, you know, and he helped us every time we needed help, and he was just a call away.
Right.
Even though he has a family, he's busy with work, he made sure that we were good.
So at what point did you say enough is enough? I'm going to detour, I'm going to head back home. At what point did you say enough was enough?
When we were in Calabar, Calabar is beautiful.
Okay.
And it's clean and it's more artistic. Almost all lots of their
So
runabouts
Calabar is beautiful.
and very artistic.
Right.
So when you enter, you know that this is an artistic town.
Right.
You know, they have a lot of artworks down on their runabouts, and it's a small town. You know, it's calm, it's peaceful.
Yeah, so to my question, at what point did you say challenge? I've had it.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
When the frustrations from the Cameroonian visa, especially, it got to me.
Interesting. You mentioned that one other guy is still on the trip.
Yeah.
And two of you have detoured.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
Yeah. So we spent 3 months, 2 weeks in Nigeria. We had a lot of bike issues in Nigeria and then visa issues. So when all those 3 months that we spent in Nigeria, we paid for accommodation every day. The hotel that we slept in, the guest house that we slept in, at some point we had to even though we had people hosting us, at some point we paid for accommodation every night or every day. So when we decided to apply for the Cameroonian visa, first of all, the budget that we did, at the point that we did, we used the expenses to do the budget. It was the Cameroonian visa is 177 euros. So around that time,
Hold on. Were you paying in euros?
that is what is stated on their visa page.
If you are in Nigeria and you're applying for a Cameroonian visa,
Yeah.
one African country,
Yeah, it's
to
in,
another African country,
yeah,
it's quoted in euros.
yeah, it's in euros. Yeah. So
Guys,
so when we did the budget for the trip, it was around less than 2,000 Ghana cedi, around 1,000, 8,000,
but your stay made
So-
it increasing in value.
because the cedi depreciation
Right.
affected it. So when we were ready to buy, which was 4 months later to buy it, now it was almost 3,000 cedis, like 2,800 and something Ghana cedis. You know,
With this, no amount of preparation can
See,
can
exactly.
buffer you.
yeah. So in correction to that, next time when we are going, we'll change all our money to dollars, if only we can. You know,
Isn't that going to further strengthen the dollar?
at this point, we have no choice to do that, but to save us,
to further strengthen the dollar, you know.
because that is the best way we can survive going forward. You know,
Why did you have to spend 3 months in Nigeria?
so when we're ready to buy the visa, we went to the embassy first in Lagos, and then they directed us to Calabar. They said it's the Calabar consulate that give land visa.
How far is Lagos from Calabar?
Almost 13, 14 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 13, 14 hours
Wow.
from Calabar, from Lagos to Calabar.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, almost 30. It's like from Accra to the north, you know. But the thing is that from Accra to the north is straight road. With Lagos to Calabar, you get to a point where you face bad road for almost 2 hours. Like the highest speed you could do is 40, 50 kilometers. That's the highest speed you could do. So now we got to Calabar. We went to the Cameroonian consulate, and then they told us that they don't issue land visa. But if we want the visa, we should either get a plane ticket, or they have a ferry that goes from from Nigeria to Cameroon. We should either get a ferry ticket or a plane ticket. And the ferry ticket is almost like 150,000 safer. You know, and us at that time it was like very expensive. So we couldn't get the ferry ticket. So we used our own way to get the flight tickets. We were able to get I don't know if I should say this online.
Yeah.
They,
It's interesting.
they call something dummy ticket.
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm to say this,
Well,
but they have something called a dummy ticket, right? So we use that to get to try and apply for the visa. Now we are ready to apply for the visa. We went to the consulate, and then they said their visa machine is broken. They've taken it to
Oh.
Cameroon,
oh no.
and they don't know how long or when they will fix it for it to come back to Nigeria.
Oh
back.
no.
You know, and already we spent almost 3 months in, you know, so we couldn't wait. again, because the frustration was getting higher.
Yeah. If I were in your shoes, I'm sure I would return back home.
Yeah. So we had a team meeting, and then we concluded that for me, because looking at my finances, let's just return and then see
Because you didn't factor in that long stay in
exactly,
Nigeria,
yeah,
where you are paying every
every
day,
day accommodation, food,
That would definitely.
water, and then also the budget that we did. The budget we did was for the full budget was for the journey. It wasn't for excessive in-town riding.
Because
Yeah.
that wasn't part of your plan.
Exactly.
It just so happened.
Yeah. So that is what also. So we decided to detour. So me and Gosh, we decided to reroute our journey, and then Xavier flying flags. He said he will wait and then get a
So
visa.
the savior is still in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Awaiting the visa.
Yeah,
Are you in
as a-
touch with him?
Yeah, as of now.
Have you checked whether he's had his visa?
Yeah, so I'm here to speak with him. Maybe today or tomorrow. Today I'll speak with him and then I'll get feedback from him. But as of now, he's in Nigeria waiting for the Cameroonian visa.
Are you sure you are going to go back?
This was what we concluded. We decided to come through Benin, use Northern Benin, go through Mali, Burkina, and then Senegal. Use that part. So when we're coming, we go to Cotonou, and then we got the information that Northern Benin is not safe at all.
In
In terms of security and all that. So we shouldn't even try and use that road. So the best option is to come through Ghana, use Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and then continue. So on our way to Ghana, right after we crossed the Ghana border, then my engine gave up on me. Yeah, my engine gave up on me. So
Well, to be very sincere with you, when you mentioned that you were going on a tour with the bike that you were using, I was two minds. I didn't know whether the bike was going to make it. But again, I said, you know what? What are the odds?
Yeah.
Let's do what hasn't been done before. So a part of me was like, the bike may not succeed or survive. But another part of me was like, let's give it a try and see the limit to which this bike can go.
Yeah.
So you went all the way to Nigeria, unable to cross into Cameroon because
Yeah,
of visa
visa
issues.
issues, yeah.
What I find so bizarre is the fact that the visa from Nigeria to Cameroon is costing you
177 euros.
it's in euros.
Yeah. So and even at some point we tried to get 5-day transit visa. That one is free,
Right.
but we couldn't get it
Right.
because we needed to get the next country visa to use that to apply for the transit.
This is really confusing at this point. You're moving lost.
So
Anyway, so you got back into Accra.
Yeah.
Your engine broke down.
yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
next?
So let me just switch a bit to that part. So during the visa application, we wanted to get the 5-day visa, but even though it was very risky to just get a 5-day transit visa to Cameroon, because you don't know what will happen.
That's true.
If you get any mechanical issue or anything, we are limited to 5 days only. But the plan was
And
that
so, what is the worst case? You have 5 days, you have an issue, and you're there. What's the worst case?
so if the worst case is if you are in that country and your time is up, you pay more to get an extension.
Right.
Extension.
And it wasn't wise for you, looking at the journey ahead
Yeah,
of you,
exactly.
and how much you had already spent. It
Yeah.
wasn't wise for you to keep spending.
Exactly.
Right. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So we had to make a lot of critical
Decisions.
decisions
Yes,
at some point.
So you'd have still been in Nigeria as you
Yeah.
speak, awaiting
Yeah.
your visa, and not know when you're going to get your visa.
Mhm.
And this is from one African country
Yeah.
to other.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Cameroon used to be part of West Africa,
Right.
but it's no longer part. I don't know the reason, but it's no longer part of West Africa. So that's where
Honestly, I did not know. Did you know that Cameroon was part of West Africa? I didn't know.
yeah.
This is a revelation.
So
I think it's now Central Africa.
yeah, now it's now Central Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So that's a challenge part that we had. Even at some point there was a Moroccan guy who was also wanted to cross with him. He's backpacking. He's not using motorbike or bicycle or anything.
He's what?
He's backpacking.
What does that
He's
mean?
just having a back using public transport.
Yeah. Chale.
Yeah.
He's backpacking.
Yeah. With his
Has a
back.
backpack,
Yeah. Just going.
public transport, and just going.
Yeah. No
Wow.
motorbike, bicycle, or anything. What?
Wow.
Yeah. That's.
The world is free, you know.
Yeah.
The world is very free. You know, we cause so much stress
Yeah.
upon ourselves.
You meet interesting things and
Yeah.
interesting people.
That's what it's a travelers.
Yeah. It's like
So he
that.
was in Nigeria and he was going towards Cameroon.
Cameroon. Yeah.
And he was just going.
Yeah. like-
Backpacking.
Yeah.
Wow.
People are doing a lot of crazy, mind-blowing stuff, you know.
Eko, do you think that you could have planned even better? You've been on AIS. I mean, AIS is not at this magnitude because with AIS, we are still
Yeah.
in Ghana.
Hmm.
We don't have to deal with border issues. But do you think that you could have planned better?
Yeah.
Knowing
Yeah.
how much plan we put into
Ha.
around the 7.
Yeah.
Do you think you could have done better?
Yeah.
Let's say maybe reach out to the authorities of Togo, reach out to the authorities of Benin, let them know about your mission, and then try and soften the grounds before you get in. Do you think you could have done that?
So yeah, I think we could have planned it better, but how much planning is enough? You know, but
How much planning is enough is a very big question.
Yeah.
But let's plan so much so that
you don't. Yeah.
we are not stranded unnecessarily.
Yeah. So right now, so on the trip, I was writing a lot. You know, at some point, I just take a long time, go walk, go ride around, just to process everything that is happening. I write down what I'm going through and then the challenges I'm facing to do things better. So one of the things that I plan to do
Going
going
forward.
forward, re-strategizing, changing the money. The money is
So definitely once
Yeah.
you are leaving Ghana, you change into a currency stronger than
Yeah.
our cedi.
Yeah, for sure. That one is very, very critical, very, very important because it will save you. It will save you. And then the farther you go out of your home country, the less important your currency is.
Right.
You know,
Unless it's a dollar.
unless it's a dollar, or pounds or euros.
Pounds, yeah.
Yeah. You know, second also is
It's a sad reality, you know, but it's
Yeah.
the truth.
yeah. And then secondly also I'll try and get maybe a formal letter from maybe Ministry of Affairs, looking at what we experienced. Some things could have been avoided, and also at the same time we were saved a lot. Because at some point on the trip, it was by faith. You know, with me, my faith is little, but on this trip, my faith has really gotten stronger because we got to
What does this mean?
so
What does this mean?
we got to a point it was getting in the evening, and then we had bike issue.
Right.
It was getting in the middle of nowhere, which around the north it was about to rain,
Right.
and you don't know how far
The next
the
town
next town is, you know.
or the next available place for help.
Exactly, and you don't see people around,
Right.
you know, and it's getting dark,
Right.
you know. So with me, fear came in me a bit. Yeah, fear came in me a bit, you know. But like you still have this conviction.
Where the fear is, someone will harm you.
Yeah,
An animal will come and eat you. You'll be
animal
robbed.
is the last thing
Okay.
because it's if anything will happen to it, it's a human being that will do something to you.
Where you'll be robbed.
Yeah, you know, and things like that. And
But thankfully nothing happened.
nothing happened, you know. I don't know. Yeah, nothing happened, and we were able to salvage that situation. You know, at some point, I had to use my bike. Towed all the bikes on the trip.
Wow.
You know,
Your bike was the smallest bike.
yeah, the 200.
Anyway, tell us, what bike were you riding?
I used the Apsonic AP200 GY-7
Right.
bike, and it's a low capacity bike.
Right.
The tank capacity is 13.5 liters.
Right.
It's an air cooling system bike. It's a dual sport, you know, and it has enough ground clearance. So on the bad roads, I was ahead crowd with them, and then doing with the heavy ones, they were now struggling, you know, and things like that.
Guys, I ride a motorcycle. I've ridden all my life. But the truth of the matter is that if I were to embark on a trip like he did, there was no way I was going to consider the bike he did use. And so because of that, I doff my hat to you. It won't even cross my mind.
to use a 200cc.
Yes, so you've done very well. You've done a yeoman's job. Do you think that going forward you still use that same bike?
So the bike played a major role for me, in the sense that in terms of fuel consumption, it saved my pockets. Because
Which is very important.
yeah, very
When
very
you're on
important.
such tours,
Mhm.
fueling is such a big deal.
Yeah. And one thing about the bike is so a full tank can take you at least 132 kilometers,
Right.
which is like Bolga to Tamale.
Right.
Like which is like Bolga to Tamale. That's a full tank. And when it is on E, so
Where E is empty.
empty, yeah.
Right.
When it's on E, I could ride it for at least 20 to 30 minutes. That is
Covering enough.
yeah, enough,
Yeah.
down to the next fuel station, and then the thing about this bike also is their parts, other bikes can substitute their parts for your bike.
Very important thing.
So
That's very important.
example is when my clutch cable got torn, I bought a spare clutch cable from Apsonic shop and then took it along, but when it got torn, what they gave me was a shorter clutch cable,
Right.
but
So it won't work.
it wouldn't work. So the mechanic that
Worked
worked
on your
on the bike, he had some old cable lying down, and it fitted perfectly well.
Right.
The only thing is it didn't have that nipple
To lock.
it. So he used it. He tied it in a way.
When we were growing up, there was something we called trimming.
Uh,
This is the trimming to lock. So that will form the nipple.
nipple, yeah,
of
exactly.
time. Take me back into time.
I'm bringing back
Yeah,
memories.
yeah, lots
Yeah.
of memories.
Yeah. So he did that. So that's an advantage of the bike. What is difficult to get from the bike in countries like Nigeria is a rim. Yeah, because I dented my rim.
Has Apsonic got a branch in Nigeria?
Funny enough, no.
Okay.
That was shocking to me because Nigeria is a big market,
Right.
and Nigeria has everything you need on a bike or even anything metal. But with that rim, it was difficult to get.
I know they have a market called the computer market.
Yeah.
And I'm told you can find anything.
See, they have another place where it's only metal, anything metal,
And annex of the computer market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything that has to do with metal, and they will find it for you. But it was difficult getting that rim. So when we get a rim,
Yeah.
either my sprocket wouldn't fit in,
Yes.
or my
There was going to be
something off. So that was the challenge.
Where is your bike as we speak?
So right now my bike, because the engine is broken, I've packed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've packed it.
If you say engine is broken, that's quite broad. What does that mean?
Yeah. So
The engine just shut on your way?
yeah. So coming, my last service that I did was in Nigeria,
Right.
and then I did a straight ride across 2 countries to Ghana, straight from Lagos to Ghana. No stop. The only stop we did was to refuel,
Right.
and it was raining. It rained from Benin to Ghana,
Wow.
and we rode through the rain. So I changed my oil, and then
You must have gained some experience riding in the rain from Benin to Ghana. You want to share with
yeah.
us?
Right now, the only thing that is left for me is ride through fire and then snow. Only fire and snow. I've ridden through.
Through everything.
Yeah, I've ridden through rain. I've ridden through rocky lands where it's only rocks. I've ridden through muddy area where it's very slippery.
Did you try and get yourself some kind of special training before embarking on this trip? Or you were heavily relying on your original skill set?
So before this trip, because of the work that I do, I live in Upper East Region, Borgatanga.
I know.
Yeah, and I travel to different communities to shoot documentaries and to photograph community people. So when you check my works on the page, it's more about people from the north. So I've done trips from Borga to Mole National Park, which was 7 hours going, 7 hours coming.
Right.
But it was a good road
With the same Apsonic.
with the same Apsonic. I've done
This Apsonic has been a loyal servant.
yeah, it has served me well. I've done trips from in all the seasons, all the terrains and seasons in the north. I've done the Tumu Road, and if you know the Tumu Road, yeah, I've done the Tumu Road. I've done the Tongo Hills. I've ridden through the rocky So all these little trips that I
The
did,
Tungo Hills and the Tenfik Shrine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then also being on AIS, especially, AIS 3 and AIS 4, which I was on, and seeing what
So
these,
that's prepared you psychologically.
and also it made me imagine what to do in situations like that.
I get
So all these preparations made help me.
All right, rock and roll. Let's go.
I spoke with the AWOL team, Adventure Without Limits. I spoke with Mono. I spoke with Hisham. I spoke with Billa, and they advised me. I spoke with Regis.
Right.
Yeah, they advised me that the best way to enjoy this trip is to travel light.
Right.
So amongst the three of us,
You were the lightest.
I was the lightest.
Yeah.
My luggage was light. My so even they advised me that the pants that you wear, just pick one.
It shouldn't matter.
Exactly.
One pants.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, good.
Yeah. The only time you could wash is maybe weekends. So my other guys, they had back boxes, side box, side panniers, and all that. And when we got to bad roads, with me, I was
That's
Yeah.
one advantage of talking to people who have gone ahead of you. They
exactly.
will give you an experience that no one can
Yeah.
give you.
And they did Accra to Senegal.
Yes.
So and even the conversation that we had, it wasn't for this trip. It was a random
Yes,
conversation.
you just pick something from it.
Exactly.
Put into your name. As they
Exactly.
say.
Yeah. And also what really helped me was the AIS. If you're riding, it's different from being back and observing.
Right.
You
Yeah, so usually we the riders feel a certain way.
Mhm.
Those who are in the cars watching from afar are also feeling a certain way.
Exactly.
You tend to probably see more than we see.
Yeah. And also for me, being a photographer,
Yeah.
my
things you're looking out for.
yeah, exactly. My understanding is different. An example that, and let me give you a typical scenario.
Right.
So during the AIS, there was a
Each
certain
of them, the three or
the four. There was a certain day that we wore yellow, the Jata cement chest,
I
right?
think that was the day we were going to Java.
Yeah. So I decided to photograph everything that has yellow in it.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, when
Yeah.
I checked all my shots, every shot that I took, both consciously and unconsciously,
Had yellow in it.
had yellow in it.
Wow.
But prior to that, I didn't have shots that had yellow in it.
It's interesting.
So that is how I observe AIS. That is what I took from AIS. So me watching the riders, how they take curves. This AI is for the softest. I would say that.
Yeah, it was the softest because we called it the relaxed edition. And
yeah.
after doing it hard for 3 times, there was nothing to prove anymore. So we just wanted to chill,
Exactly.
relax, enjoy, you know.
Yeah. So the AIS 3 taught me a lot
It was very hard.
to pick from a rider. And then the AIS 4 taught me a lot to pick from when you're on the good road.
So 3 and 4 came in handy for you.
Perfectly.
3 taught you the hard things,
Yes.
4 taught you the soft things.
Exactly.
That's good.
What to do when you have a lot of sand.
Right.
How to power out of sand,
Right.
how to maneuver out of sand. The tie, the kind of ties. I had to change my tie in Togo or Benin. So I changed my back tie in Togo or Benin, one of the countries.
I mean, like I've said, as a motorcyclist, if I were given this same bike that you rode to go on such a trip with, I don't think anyone on this earth can convince me to do that. What did you see in the bike
Mhm.
that made you take it on such a trip?
Okay. So before this trip, I'd used a bike in the north. You know, that is where I'm based. I'm based in Upper East region, Bogatanga specifically. And as part of the work that I do, I travel to various communities to photograph.
Photography, yeah.
Yeah. So I've had experience with the bike, and then I've used the bike thoroughly, consistently in
You know
different.
the bike inside out.
Yes, I know the capacity of the bike,
Its capability.
its capabilities, you know. And even on this trip, I was able to know more about the bike than I thought I knew.
Which is surprise, yeah.
An example is so in riding longer hours with this bike, the feel of the bike changes.
Right,
You know, at some point when you're going, the bike wouldn't get past 100.
right,
You know, so you have to let the bike breathe
right.
by decelerating
Right.
and coming down to a lower gear, then accelerating
That's
again.
why I didn't-
Exactly. Then, you know, but when I was riding in the north, I wasn't
Never experienced
I never experienced that. But on this trip, I could ride. The longest ride that I did was 8 hours, 9 hours straight.
That was from where to where?
From Lagos when we're going to Calabar.
Your favorite place.
Yeah, Calabar is my favorite place. You know,
From the conversation,
Yeah.
I can tell that Calabar is your favorite place.
Yeah,
That's
if-
awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised to myself if one day I decide to move there.
Wow.
You know, so during that trip, that was where I was able to understand more.
Speaking of moving there, you were based in Accra.
Yes, and then,
What made you move to that East region?
ha,
You are a nomad. You move from places to places.
yeah,
But what made you move from Accra to Upper East region?
ha, this
Such
conversation.
a tough decision.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So partly was because of my work, and then partly also was because of different situation that made me move to the north in terms of how the north is. I think the north suited who or how I am
Your
as a
perspective
person.
more. Okay.
In terms of the calmness, in
Yes.
terms of it being a small town, in terms of it being to be able to live a present life, being aware of yourself and then the people around you and your surroundings, you know. And some few other
Yeah, finish
and
it.
some few other factors also.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so you've lived with Ghanaians,
Mm-hmm.
lived with the Togolese,
Yeah.
lived with
Beninois.
Beninois,
Yeah.
and then Nigerian.
Yeah.
What can you say about the Ghanaian? What can you say about the Togolese? What can you say about the Beninois? And what can you say about the Nigerian?
Ha.
One thing.
That's a good deep question.
Yeah.
So being I'll my observation will come more from my photography point of view,
Right.
you know.
You want your pictures to speak for you.
Exactly. So with me, a lot of my images are more about portraits, you know, more headshots, more facial expression and how the eyes are communicating. So from Ghana to go Benin and Nigeria, when you look at the eyes, so with me, it's more about the eyes, what the eyes are speaking for.
The eye speaks a lot.
Yeah. In Nigeria, right? Nigeria, a lot of people, majority of the Nigerians that I met or you meet on the way, and you can even, if you're very observant, you can testify that also. Nigerians have an alertness eye.
I don't think anybody would disagree.
You know,
The Nigerians are always
Yeah,
alert.
like when a Nigerian walks in here, you know, they will be scanning around.
Alert.
Like if shit happens, sorry to you, if something happens,
Eh?
how is
Maybe
my
my
exit?
exit.
Yeah, you know, if I'm going, what is up next?
The Nigerians, so I don't think anybody would disagree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, with Togo, it's more about fear. Like, hey, I don't want
Trouble.
Trouble. Yeah,
That
yeah. Fear. There's fear in their eyes.
they will put fear into them.
Yeah. With Benin, it's more like Beninois have like similar eyes to Ghanaians.
Okay.
Yeah, more like chill. Yeah, like that kind of thing. Like you see when you see their eyes, there's no
Agency.
agency, and it's
We are
like,
okay with all that.
we are okay. Yeah, let's move. Yeah.
So Ghana and Benin have similarities.
Yes,
where we are okay with what
Yeah.
comes. The
Well,
police
I wouldn't say Benin, but because I live more in Cotonou.
that Cotonou is in Benin.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can say
It's in Benin.
because I was circling it down to only Cotonou.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I can. You also live in only Lome, isn't it?
Yes.
But you
Yeah.
concluded.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lume also.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Nigeria, I lived
I
in a
mean,
lot
this is
of.
not cast in stone. This is
Yeah.
what you saw.
So exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
what must be the case.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But with
it's
Nigeria,
your
like with Nigeria, I can say for a fact, everyone's eyes are lit.
so Nigerians are always alert.
Yeah.
The
See.
police have fear in them.
Mhm.
Ghana and Benin, we are
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
calm.
chill. Yeah.
Chill.
Like yeah. Okay. You know.
Knowing that your bike broke down, you are in Ghana to try and fix it and then continue again.
Yeah.
You use the same bike or you change the bike.
So with my bike, so far I would say the bike served me well. It did beyond what I expected. It did beyond what I could
Tell us what
imagine.
bike it is again.
So the Apsonic 200 AP200 GY-7. Yeah.
What's the name?
Yeah. So that bike outproved itself to me. It was riding longer hours, 7-8 hours continuously. You know, going through the only places that I couldn't ride is in fire and snow.
Right.
And I'm sure in fire it will do well.
Right.
In snow it will do well. Those are the only conditions.
So if you get the opportunity, are you going to use the same bike?
Yeah. So if I get the opportunity, yeah, I would love to use the same bike. Also, I've seen the new 250cc bike.
Apsonic, you've done a new one.
Yeah, I've seen their new 250cc bike and I've read about it. So if it's like an updated software,
Right.
so if there's an updated software, it means
Even
that
better.
it will be better than the previous one.
So
So
Apsonic, over to you. The gentleman is doing marvelous with your motorcycle. I think you should encourage him and strengthen him even more to do more for you, because I would have not taken an Apsonic on a tour.
yeah,
You've done marvelously well, and I think Apsonic must,
yeah. And you know,
must look after you.
a lot of people said they wouldn't try.
I mean, after your tour, I
Yeah.
have a whole different mindset about the Apsonic now.
Yeah. So looking at the new 250, I think with what the 200 has done, the 250 for me and what I've read about it, I think it will meet up to the expectations and then what it can do in the trip going forward.
Your final words for anybody who wants to embark on such a trip.
Yeah.
What do you have for them? How well should they prepare? What should they look out for? What should they take along? What shouldn't they take along? Your final words.
Yeah. So with me, first thing I want to say is get enough sponsorship for yourself. That's the first thing I would say. Going forward, seeking for sponsorship, is the first thing that I'm doing.
Very crucial.
Very crucial. Seeking for sponsorships, getting sponsorships. And then also, if you can get a formal letter from your
authorities,
especially
foreign affairs,
foreign affairs or something, that will play a major role
right,
in your visa application. And then also thirdly, when I go in, you travel light.
right,
Traveling light is very, very important.
right.
The things that I packed are only what I need. Even I did the first check. Later, I had to take some things out.
Wow.
I realized
Wow.
I only need this.
Wow.
And things that you think you can buy on the way, drop them.
Yeah.
And then also when you're going, you have to have a free mind and then an open mind.
Embrace anything that comes your way.
Exactly, because if you fixate your mind on something,
You'll be disappointed.
yeah, you'll be very disappointed a lot, And then don't move with fear,
Right.
because they said whatever you put your mind to is what you see.
Right.
So don't move with fear.
Right.
Because at some point you need a lot of conviction to carry on. Because we got stuck in the middle of nowhere. It was getting dark. It was about to rain. And
Lights broken down.
yeah, and so those are the few things that I would say.
Right. You've heard from the man himself, his experience of traveling from Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria. He hoped to continue, but visa issues. So he's back in Ghana to fix his bike and then continue. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Thank you, Moto Checker. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.